By phone is Bret Baier, Fox's chief political anchor, and of course the anchor of Special Report. Bret, good morning. John McCain loved talking to reporters, but he could also get quite testy with reporters. And I wonder if you perhaps experienced both of those.
Yeah, I did. Howie, good morning. You know, listening to Bill Bennett, I think you really got a sense of the man. He had a great sense of humor, but he could be prickly and defiant. He was restless. He had like 7 things going on at once that he wanted to do, but he was impish in dealing with reporters. I mean, he would always like joke with you or needle you. I was over on Capitol Hill one day, and some reporter was doing a live shot in the hallway, and he went out of his way, McCain did, to walk over and put devil horns over his guy doing the live shot. You know, and that was just John McCain. I think, you know, he will have made a mark more than many people in the United States Senate. And if you think about his longtime friend and adversary, Ted Kennedy, dies the same day 9 years ago of brain cancer.
That is so remarkable. And this just seems like some kind of message. You know, he had a great wit. He could blast people. As you say, he could get confrontational. You know, that word, that much overused word, authenticity, I think particularly in this age when politicians are very carefully calibrated, doesn't apply to President Trump now that I think of it, John McCain was very real, and some people liked him, and some people didn't like him, and some people got mad at him, and the next day they'd be allies.
Yeah, that's right. You know, Mark Salter wrote a really beautiful op-ed in the Washington Post, and he said, McCain was a romantic about his causes and a cynic about the world. He had the capacity to be both things and to live with the contradiction. And he says he thought it was a moral failure to accept injustice as the inescapable tragedy of our fallen nature. He always said, and I talked to him in the elevator not too long ago when he was over at Fox, that he had just a wonderful life. You know, he had already accepted the diagnosis, and he said, I have just had the most amazing life, and I'm going to run it to the finish line.
Yeah.
And he did.
I couldn't help but admire the way he fought his final battle, you know, with great dignity, still putting out statements from Arizona despite how ill he was. Do you agree with my thesis that John McCain got far better press when he was challenging Republicans, whether it's President Trump or George W. Bush, than when he was running against Barack Obama or challenging President Obama in office?
100%. I mean, 100%. You know, he's described as a maverick and somebody who stood up to his party. But remember, he also stood up for his party at times on principle and ideology, and was fighting for conservative causes at times. And often that gets a little bit blurred in review. And that race in 2008, while what gets remembered is him standing up to the woman in the Q&A town hall saying, no, Barack Obama is not an Arab, as she said, he also was fighting for a lot of conservative causes.
Yeah, and suddenly the press would rediscover, I mean, they would fall in love with John McCain when he's fighting for campaign finance reform, would rediscover, hey, this is a pretty conservative Republican from Arizona who believes in smaller government and tax cuts and is pro-life and all of those things. Just briefly, Bret, you know, this sounds like a cliche, but in this case, I think true, John McCain's passing leaves a void both in the Senate and perhaps in the national political conversation?
It does. It does. And I do think that we will see the pendulum shift. I do think that our politics will hunger for more John McCains, people who can reach across the aisle to get things done, even if they're opposed to each other on ideology. And there is a void. And who knows, maybe Russell's Senate office building will be the John McCain Senate office building, which would be the John McCain SOB, and he would really love that.
Yes, and I'm sure his family, Meghan McCain and the other members of his family, would love that as well. Bret Baier, thanks so much. Great to have you on this important day.
All right, we'll see you, Howard.